Hey everyone, and welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 311, recorded on Tuesday, March 25th, 2025. And we're here to talk about Nintendo Switch 2 predictions because the Nintendo Direct is coming up on April 2nd, so just a few days away from this recording. We're also going to be talking about several other headlines, including some Nintendo music stuff, new Nintendo store, some accessibility stuff coming for Nintendo as they step into the Accessible Games Initiative, Alarmo update, and several other stories that we're going to get into in just a bit. But before we do that, it's probably important for us to introduce ourselves, especially if you're kind of new around here. So my name is Steve, and of course Barry and Greg are also joining us. So Barry, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. As good as can be.
It's good to be. The ongoing saga of Barry's health continues.
Yeah, I've got food poisoning right now, so my body is fighting with me about puking or not. So even though what I ate was yesterday and it's long digested, so I wouldn't, my body still doesn't realize that.
Nice. And this is why you need to join us live, because if you watch after the fact, I may have to cut some stuff out. But if you watch live, you may catch something that might happen. So we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't happen. Greg, you healthy?
Yeah, at least in all that, at least physically healthy, but yeah. Nothing, no ailments, no sicknesses around this household, thankfully. I know my daughter was kind of feeling kinda a little bit like yesterday, but didn't really turn anything to skip school or anything, so, but yeah, other than that kind of smaller stuff, doing pretty good here. We had a bathroom remodel, but it's been going around this house, so, lots of noise banging, like, earlier today, so that was a lot of fun to listen to as well.
Nice. Nice. Well, yeah, we're going to be talking a lot about several different news stories tonight. But if you've never joined us live, we just want to encourage you to join us live every other Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time. We stream on both YouTube and on Twitch, and we'd love to have you guys join either or both places. I don't know if you have multiple screens, stream us on both. But also if you miss us, if you want to catch us after the fact, the online video, the archive version is going to be over on our YouTube channel, of course, and of course you can also subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Just search up Nintendo Fuse and be sure to subscribe. Share this with others that you enjoy, that also enjoy Nintendo and video games. And if you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up button here on YouTube. Really helps us a lot as well, in addition to sharing it with others. And if you are joining us in the live chat, be sure to let us know what you think about all the different things that we talk about, the games that you're playing, all those different things. We love having you guys interact with us in the live chat as well. So please be sure to jump in there. And, we know not everybody can join us live. So if you have some thoughts after the fact, throw those in the YouTube comments as well. But let's jump into what games we have been playing as we normally do here at the top. And we'll let Greg start us off.
Unfortunately, it's mostly an uneventful kind of time for me because I didn't actually power on my Switch in the last 2 weeks. There was a number of times where I said I really should do it. There's lots of these games that I need to play, especially like the game chat games and even other games that I would like to dive back into. But either like the time just didn't really allow. I was like working on like taxes and getting all the other stuff done, so that kind of ate through some of my free time over the last 2 weeks, but at least on the mobile side, I've still been going through with like the Disney Pixel RPG. They had released Chapter 5, and it was kind of fun to be going through that. They had like a accompanying event that along with it that I've been going through. I know like after the last podcast, I downloaded the Pokemon trading card games that I linked up with both you guys. I only opened a few packs a few times throughout the 2 week period, even though it was probably going to be opening them every day. It just hasn't quite entered into the manual routine of opening every single day yet. But I'm hoping to possibly get there. But I know there's just way too many cards to collect and way too many bonuses to decide. And there's even all these other currencies that I have to figure out what they all do and which ones need to be spent and which ones need to be more saved and all of that. So it's kind of interesting that you're just opening up packs of cards, at least at this point. I know you can do the battles and trading and stuff, but I haven't unlocked either of those features yet.
Yeah,
And then
trading's
pretty
horrible
much,
anyway, so
yeah, I'm
unless
sure
you
it's
have
like
someone in
here
your
I'll
own house that you want to trade with, it's great, but
yeah,
trading
here
across the internet is yeah.
I'll trade you this
Fix some trading.
legend Pokemon card for your like Squirtle or something.
Can't do that.
I'm glad that there's at least those restrictions in place because I wouldn't really know. Like, you sure you want to trade this major flashy shiny card for this
Yeah, people could
other card?
definitely cheese it if you could. For sure.
But yeah, then pretty much just to wrap up, still just going through the Roblox games with my daughter. Like that Adopt Me game has really sucked in like all three, me, my wife, and my daughter. And basically it's been taking pretty much hours out of every single day just to grind through some of the different pets and getting through the ones that you want and stuff. And they have all these weekly events and everything, so there's more things going on like every single week. So there's more things to do. But yeah, that's basically all that I've been playing the last 2 weeks.
All right. All right. Barry, how about you?
Yeah, so on the Switch side, I got my TV fixed. So I've been playing Pokemon Unite, Star Wars Hunters. However, I quit Star Wars Hunters
Hmm.
because there was an announcement that the next like battle pass would be the last one. It would be free, and the game goes offline in October, and that pisses me off. Like the game has the ability to play with bots. Let the game exist playing bots. Let's let that exist. I hate that these games just get lost, and that's it. You can't play it anymore, and that's disheartening because I really had a lot of fun with it. And come October, I'll never be able to play it again, and that's just terrible. So
Hmm.
we need to fight back against this. The game lasted 8 months. Like that's nothing. Just do an offline only mode. They were planning a PC version that was canceled. So that's just disheartening.
That is, I didn't hear
Did
that. That's too bad.
yeah, it's dying. Tetris 99, I went and did the Xenoblade X theme. Pokemon Scarlet, I did the latest 7-star Terra raid. Played some Guns of Fury, which we'll be doing a game chat here soon. As listeners know, I had jury duty, and that's where I finished House of Fata Morgana.
Nice.
So and then of course, Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. I've been playing that a lot since it launched. PS5, Legend of Heroes, Trails Through Daybreak 2. I finished that. Ready for the next one. And PC still doing Final Fantasy 14. In fact, a new update 7.2 just dropped today, but I haven't had the time to log in and mess around with the new content yet. And on mobile, Mario Kart Tour, the New York Times games, and Pokemon TCG Pocket. I'm still playing.
Nice. Nice. So I'm curious, like how did the jury duty go? Like did you get selected or did you like I mean you finished a game during it, so I'm wondering like you probably weren't
Well, I got
engaged the
picked.
entire time. Yeah.
I got picked for a criminal case. Well, I didn't get picked. I got selected as a potential juror for a criminal case. But it was going to be 3 days a week. And that would mean my wife would have to not go to work 3 days a week. And we can't afford that. So I told them, and they said, "You're excused."
Hmm.
So I still had to go back to the waiting room and wait the rest of the day. And I think around 3 o'clock, they said, "Oh yeah, everyone else settled out of court, so you all can go home." So I'm good for 3 years now. But I've never been for a criminal case, and that was weird because it was like a sexual misconduct of a minor and 7 counts. And that made me kind of uncomfortable. Just a
Wow.
little. And they had him there in the room. Yeah. And that made me really uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yikes. So
But I got
just
out of
like
it.
let's play some video games instead.
Yep. Yep,
That's good. That's good.
We already got him here. Let's just throw him in the holding cell, and
Wow.
innocent until proven guilty. So that's what the
Jesse Glenn
court
looks at the in the chat said, so I must say Mario versus Donkey Kong is such a great experience. I love
it is.
DK94, played a little bit of the
It is.
original, but I have almost beat this new remaster. The soundtrack is mind-blowing.
It is a great game.
Nice.
yep,
Nice.
definitely agree with that.
I have been playing just a few games as well. Traveled a lot this last week, so brought my Switch with me. Had just a little bit of time here and there. I had to do some work on the plane, so didn't get a ton of time to play. But I did get some time with Guns of Fury, and yeah, we'll have a game chat on that soon. But I will say that it is a lot more involved than I expected and also more punishing than I expected.
Yeah, the bosses are tough.
Yeah. Then played some Suika game on my phone. I haven't played it on Switch in a while, but I have the iPhone version. Played some Pokemon TCG Pocket, and I am very happy to report, Barry. Did you notice that they made an update? I'm sure that the Pokemon Company and whoever is behind this had listened to our podcast, and this is why they made this update on the Wonder Picks. You can now see which cards you have in the wonder pick and notice like if that's what one I don't want to go to before tapping into it, like we talked about on the last
Well, you could
episode.
always see what card you have. You just can't see how many unless you click on it and then click on the actual
You
card.
know, I never if it was there longer, I just never noticed it before.
Yeah, it was there.
I feel like it was something new. Oh well, apparently I'm paying more attention now. Uh,
But they are fixing trading. They made an announcement they are fixing trading.
really? So what are they doing?
They're getting rid of the trade currency. They're going to use shine dust. They're going to make it so you can put out like bounties. You could say like I'm looking for this card and other people can help you.
Good.
They're going to just make it they're looking into doing like the promo cards,
Hmm.
allowing trading of promo cards.
Nice. Yeah, that'd be good. Like, and it gives me something to use my shine dust on, because
Yeah,
I
no one uses shine dust,
don't
so
use it. Yeah, I've upgraded one of my Pikachu cards just for the benefits of doing it, because I think when I did it, it gave me like some sort of thing that I was able to achieve, and that was it. So that'd be good. And then played a little bit, or played, of course, more Clash Royale on mobile, and of course Rocket League. Not as much because I've been traveling a lot, and I really don't play it on Switch anymore. It's pretty much just either Xbox or PC. So I've got it still on my Switch, but it's pretty much there if I really, really, really have to. But that's about it. So yeah, let us know what you guys have been playing either in the live chat right now or in the comments later on YouTube, or simply just follow us on social media or let us know in our Discord as well. Speaking of which, if you haven't followed us on social media or Discord, we'd love to have you guys jump in over there. And you're going to see on the video version, you'll see those links on the screen, but you can also find them in our YouTube show notes, YouTube description, and the podcast show notes as well. So let's jump into our headlines. And Greg is going to kick us off with the first one.
All right, so the Nintendo Music app is continuing to get updates over the last few weeks here. So basically, on March 17th, we got the Game Boy versions of Tetris and Dr. Mario. And then on the 24th, we got Kirby and the Forgotten Land. So even
No, we
more
we
music
got
has
the
been.
NES Dr. Mario and NES
Oh, the
Tetris.
NES. Oh, I misread the labels on that. Yeah, so it's the Tetris for both Game Boy and NES, but then also Dr. Mario from the NES. I apologize for that mistake.
And it seems New York is no longer going to be the home of Nintendo's only physical store. On May 15th, Nintendo will open the doors to Nintendo San Francisco, its second official store in the United States. It's located in Union Square at 331 Powell Street. And You can enter a My Nintendo sweepstakes right now to win a trip to the grand opening.
Nintendo is also jumping on the accessibility bandwagon a little more, which is a really good thing for making more accessible games. And so, if you're unfamiliar with the accessible games initiative, they strive to provide players with clear information about the accessibility features in video games through a set of tags that players can use to identify the accessibility features available in a specific game before they purchase the game. So, similar to other tags that are on there, now more Nintendo games or all Nintendo games are going to have different accessibility tags on there as well. So, that's good news for those who need those accessibility features.
Probably not quite considered accessible, but I guess the Nintendo Alarmo did get some updates. So, Nintendo posted on their Japanese X account that basically you can download a software update, which you can now set the alarm time and wake up sounds separately for every day of the week. You can also set the playback time from with the goodnight sound from one to between 1 minute and 60 minutes. And then you can also now preview these sounds before setting it. So it's great to see that the Alarmo is even getting some of these much deserved system updates as opposed to our Nintendo Switch consoles.
And Nintendo has filed a patent for a graphical presentation similar to Square Enix's HD 2D style, combining 3D games with 2D inspired elements. The patent describes a flattened perspective that appears 2D but is actually 3D, utilizing enhanced lighting and shadows for depth.
And according to a feature on the Verge, Xbox more Xbox titles are going to actually be hitting the Switch 2. So we're going to be seeing apparently a lot more Switch 2 titles coming from the Xbox. Apparently, they're also going to be jumping over to PS5 as well. So if you are you're a big Xbox fan, but you have been waiting for those games to come over to Switch. Looks like it's going to happen on Switch too.
Speaking of games not hitting the Switch, well, here's some that will be in the Nintendo NSO update for the Super Nintendo. So, just in a few days here on March 28th, you can get some of the SNES classics like Nobunaga's Ambition, Lord of Darkness, Romance of the Three Kingdoms 4, Wall of Fire, and Uncharted Water New Horizons. So be on the lookout for some new Super Nintendo games just 3 days from now.
And in a surprise announcement, Game Informer is back, and the entire team. The publication resumes under the new ownership of Gunzilla Games. Everybody that was part of Game Informer when it was shut down is brought back on, and Gunzilla is letting Game Informer do what they were doing previously. They're not getting involved. This includes website, this includes print magazine, this includes articles, the whole 9 yards. So if you grew up with Game Informer like I did, and you were sad that it did close, it's back.
Wow. I feel like it's just went away and it's already back. So, yeah, what do you guys think about these headlines? Several different ones was kind of looking over, last episode like feels like they're all kind of fall into these categories and these are like all over the place. It's like a shotgun shot across the whole aspect of Nintendo. So yeah, what stands out to you, Greg?
Oh yeah, like always in previous episodes, I always love the new updates to the music app. I didn't do a lot of driving the last 2 weeks, so I actually did miss like all of these latest additions, but glad that they're still there and I can check them out when the time will arrive for that. Kind of happy to see Nintendo opening up an additional store finally after all these years to see, even though it's not anywhere near my location, but it's an extra store is still better than no stores. So maybe hopefully the next time I'm in San Francisco, I can go check it out. It's really great to see Nintendo jumping on the accessibility stuff. I mean, we always say it's important for pretty much everybody to play games, no matter if they're physically like more like challenged to do so and other means necessary. So it's great to see that they'll be trying to join and make their games more accessible, and more features always means like better options for gamers. So I'm definitely all for that as well. The Alarmo stuff is great to see that they're still supporting it. I know that was probably a few of the things that was kind of nice to do, so you can kind of change it up so it's not like the same song every single day, because that was kind of difficult for me, like at least in the initial time while I was using it. But since I've gotten like a newer bed, I actually haven't really been using the Alarmo, unfortunately. But I just gotta adjust that now. In terms of the patent thing, and never really know how they turn out. I mean, I did see in the article it was kind of referencing like the Dragon Quest remakes in there a little bit. So hopefully that they're looking to do something really cool with like either a Switch 2 launch game or something like that, or further down the road. You never know. Um, I guess it's been kind of seemed like the Xbox games coming to Switch consoles, like in general, like one and two. It just seems like it's almost like Microsoft is kind of giving up on that and just would rather just have the gamers have the games, and that's obviously great for Nintendo fans, not so much for the Xbox fans, unfortunately. But I mean, it's kind of the way of the business, I guess. The additional SNES games, as we were discussing before the podcast, I've actually never played the original ones, but I'm most likely going to be checking out at least the Nobunaga's Ambition ones because I was a huge fan of the NES version of the game. I never had the second one that was on NES; it was much more rare. And then, so I don't think I've ever played, nor even really seen the Super Nintendo one. So it's kind of interested to see how those are different or expand upon the NES one. And then I didn't really ever care for the Game Informer thing. I usually just kind of threw it in the recycling bin each time the GameStop kept sending them to me because it's like I don't really want a magazine subscription, don't really need one, but they insist on sending you one, so then it was usually went to the recycling bin. But yeah, for anyone that did like it, that's glad that it's back for you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Barry, how about you?
Yeah, so for me, Nintendo Music, it's great to see new stuff. Um, Happy there's a new store. I don't plan to go to San Francisco, but I'm happy for those on the West Coast. The accessibility games initiative surprises me, and I'm so happy because Nintendo is notorious for not putting accessibility in games. Like Luigi's Mansion 3, you can't change the right stick, you can't invert it. So the vacuum, it's so annoying. Like all games should have button mapping. You could do button mapping on the controller, but it's not in like a lot of the apps, like the NSO apps. For whatever stupid reason, they decide to put like for the NES and the Game Boy, like they decide to do B and A as B and A on the NES as opposed to Y and B because that's terribly uncomfortable for me and most people, especially who grew up with the Super Nintendo. So you have to button map the controller and then switch back. It's a pain in the ass. Put things like that in all games. Just let us enjoy games the way we want to enjoy games. So hopefully we'll see some changes. Alarmo, glad to see it being updated. I still don't have one. The HD 2D has me excited because I love when Square does the HD 2D, and maybe Star Tropics. We'll see. We'll see.
Ooh.
Uh, the Xbox titles coming to Switch too. That's like Microsoft has been going that route. Like we have our own console, but we're putting our games on other platforms. Like Indiana Jones is now going to PS5, and they're positioning themselves as a third party now, which is fine because they're buying up everybody anyway. So I'm happy that they're a third party for the Switch too now. New SNES games is great. What sucks is we lose Super Soccer. That annoys me. So hopefully that comes back. Um, don't want any games to be kicked off. And I grew up with Game Informer. I loved Game Informer, and back when Funkoland did it, and you know, I, the later issues, I didn't have the time to read like I used to. Of course, the internet and everything else, but having the entire team just fired out of nowhere is terrible. And to see them all get their job back and all do what they want to do, and it's great. It's great to see someone save these people and their livelihoods because GameStop didn't care.
Yeah. Quickly, new music is exciting. I don't know how much I'm just going to listen to the Tetris soundtracks, but without playing the game. But it's cool that it's on there, and I haven't really listened to much of the Kirby and the Forgotten Land soundtrack, so I listened to it a little bit today, and that's a good soundtrack. That's a really good soundtrack. So that's cool that that's on there too. And then, yeah, I'm with you, Greg. Like, it's cool that a new Nintendo store is opening, but it's not close to, I mean, it's closer than New York, but it's still not, right there. So I'm hoping, if that goes well, maybe the next one will go in Chicago, and maybe they'll drop one in Denver after that. So here's hoping. But I am going to be out in the somewhat near San Francisco in May, and so if I have some time, I don't think I will, but because it's going to be a little bit, I'll be like around San Jose. And so I was like, oh man, if I had just a little extra time, it'd be fun to slide up there. But I don't think I'm going to be able to fit it in my schedule. Yeah, and then accessibility stuff is always good. Like you guys said, Stu, it's great to see them finally jumping on the board with it. Like every year, it seems like in the Game Awards, it's the accessibility stuff is always going to other companies, and it's like Nintendo forgets about accessibility, and so it's really great to see at least Nintendo of America stepping into it and putting these tags on there. I hope that means they're going to keep on going down that route, because like you guys said, we need more games to be more accessible, no matter what circumstances you're in. Everybody needs at least the ability to play some video games, and so hopefully these tags mean that they're going to actually work in more accessibility features in the future as well. If not, their games are just going to have no accessibility tags on there, even though they're a part of the initiative, be without any tags. And then Alarmo, that's a great update. Can't believe it didn't launch with it, but it's great. It's got now HD 2D stuff, like you guys said. That's exciting. And then more Xbox titles. It saddens me that Xbox seems to be going the direction they're going, just because I think competition is good for the market as a whole. And so I mean, I'm glad we're getting those games, but at the same time, I hope they don't go the way of Sega. But we'll see. And then yeah, I knew nothing. I was telling these guys beforehand. I know nothing about these SNES games, so that'd be exciting to check them out after March 28th on NSO. And yeah, I kind of am right in the middle of where you guys are in Game Informer. Like, I kind of enjoyed it, but I also didn't read it a whole lot. But I remember it always being there. And so it's cool it's back, but I'm not gonna jump on and get a subscription right away. But I think I'm more excited that all these people got their jobs back. That's really the highlight, I think, of this whole thing, because that was horrible. So for them to get it back, I hope they do well. I really do.
I hope it came with a pay increase too, and not like their salary they had back when it was open. But
See,
I know writing positions don't tend to be the highest paying, but hopefully that the market rate is much better and they were able to negotiate.
yeah. I mean, my guess is Gunzilla probably dropped a whole lot of money on purchasing it. So I don't know if they had enough, they have enough left to give everybody a raise. That'd be nice, but we'll see, I guess. Because I'm sure people are going to be talking. If it's good, they'll talk, and they'll be excited and go into social media and saying, "Hey, I'm so glad to be back. Gunzilla even did this for us." But if it's not good, people talk about that as well. But I hope it's good. So let's move into our main segment for this episode, and we're going to be talking all about Switch 2 in this episode, and it's also going to be happening in the next episode. We're also going to be talking about Switch 2, and if you've forgotten, Nintendo Direct is going to be happening on April 2nd, 2025, and we're hopefully going to be able to do a live reaction of that, so you can tune in to us at least on YouTube, maybe on Twitch as well, and we're going to try to do a live reaction to that, as long as it all goes well, and no one takes us down for live streaming the event and talking over it or whatever. But yeah, that's exciting to see what's going to be happening on April 2nd. But we're going to be talking about some predictions on this episode, and then we'll talk about what we saw and our afterthoughts and everything on our next episode, which is April 8th. So just a few days after the next Nintendo Direct. And there's rumors that people are talking about is there may be a Switch 1 Nintendo Direct over the next few days ahead of the Switch 2 Nintendo Direct. We'll see if it actually happens, or if maybe they'll just drop a couple news items on their social media, like sometimes they do as well. I think that's interesting that I don't think we really have very many other like Switch One games that we know are coming, right? Like we've hit the end of Nintendo's stuff, right? Uh,
Only three from Nintendo: Metroid Prime 4, Pokemon Legends, ZA, and Pokemon Champions. That's it.
okay, so we are
And we know
we are
Champions
near
is
the
also
end,
Switch too.
near the end for sure. So we're going to talk about some predictions, and some of these predictions, I'm just going to say I don't know what Barry and Greg have put out there or going to put out there. They may be a bit of repeats from our beginning of the year uh, predictions, or maybe there's some revisions from our January predictions for 2025. We'll see. But we're going to go at in several different categories and talk about those categories as a whole. So we're going to start off with the tech stuff, the tech specs of the Nintendo Switch 2, what we think is going to be in it, that the technical aspects of the system. Then we're going to talk about our predictions for launch titles, or maybe launch window titles, if you will, as well. And then we're going to have anything and eventually we're going to stop there, and we're going to move into an other category, because we're going to end with our price predictions and our release date predictions. So that other category right there in the middle just basically includes anything that doesn't fall into those other four categories. But we just wanted to end with the price and the release date categories. So we'll start with the tech specs. And yeah, I guess we'll kind of go in the same order as we typically do. So, Greg, what are you thinking as far as tech specs for the Nintendo Switch 2? What do you think we're going to see on April 2nd?
Yeah, I'm not like the super tech spec kind of guy, just being one that just has primarily owned like the Nintendo systems. But if I were to try to put some numbers, I guess, into perspective, I was almost thinking that it was going to be like almost like a halfway point between the PS4 and the PS5. I don't think we'll quite get to PS5 graphics on the next Nintendo Switch 2, but I would like to think that would still be like an upgraded PlayStation 4. So I mean, even like something's like 4.25 or 4.75, however you want to spin it, like that kind of realm that it's like in between in terms of like the processing like speed and power and all that kind of stuff. I'm really hoping for the 60 frames per second thing for basically all the games. That would be great to have, especially as the Tears of the Kingdom and stuff really kind of struggled on the first Switch. So I really hope they can get that clocked in there. Um, I was also kind of thinking that we've been hearing a lot about that mouse mode thing, so I'm pretty sure that's going to be confirmed then also on the next Wednesday. So, then also I kind of lumped in as a feature that I'm still thinking that's going to still support the Amiibo, as it's kind of a primary function of the Nintendo Switch. So I would think it'd be kind of silly to not still have that support, especially if there are going to be a lot of Switch games that are playable on the Nintendo Switch too. So I'm thinking that the Amiibo, like the reader thing, will still be accessible, whether it's on just the one Joy-Con or Pro Controller, or however they're gonna do it there, unless you just do it on the screen this time around. I don't know for
Yeah,
sure, obviously.
yeah. Cool. I believe I've actually heard that there was. I don't think it's I don't think it was a leak, but it was just like from patent filing or something like that. That I think Amiibo actually is going to be present. I'm pretty sure. So I think that's a safe one, Greg. I think you're definitely going to get that one right. Barry,
Nice.
any thoughts toward Greg's, or I want to go ahead and share yours?
Yeah, for me, I think it's going to be as powerful as a PS4 Pro in handheld mode, and then as powerful as the Xbox Series S docked. Maybe they'll surprise us. Maybe they'll go farther. I do think that the battery is going to be bigger, but I think that even though it's bigger, the battery life is going to be the same as the regular Switch in handheld. the bigger battery just compensates the more power. I do think it's going to be LCD. I know people really want OLED. I think it's going to be LCD to start with. Uh, I didn't say it, but I think Greg's right in the money with the NFC. With it being backwards compatible with the Switch 1, it doesn't hurt to put a little reader, in one of the controllers, especially if, the Pro controller is already playable, or, the Joy Cons are backwards compatible with the Switch too. And they'll just keep reprinting Amiibo. So I don't think we're gonna get many new Amiibo, but they'll just keep reprinting Amiibo for fun.
Yeah. I'm right there with you guys. In fact, yeah, I actually said that I think that it's going to be a next gen NVIDIA. I think it's going to be an 8-core system on a chip CPU, with the GPU equivalent of a PS4 Pro. That's where I think it's gonna go as well. Interesting enough, I did a little research on this, that the Switch One also has an 8-core chip, but they only use 4 of them. In fact, they actually only use 3 of them on a regular basis, because one of those chips, or one of those cores, is dedicated to the system, like the firmware or something like that itself. And so it's like a separate thing. So they're really only using, for some reason, 3 of the cores on an 8-core chip. So I imagine either they're going to switch and use all 8 cores this time, or they'll switch to an even greater one and use 8 of those cores. So maybe they go to a 12-core chip or a 10-core chip, but actually use 8 of them this time. And
Why don't they use all 8? That doesn't
it's a
seem
really
weird.
good question. I am thinking maybe it's because of battery life, is my guess. That if they did use all of that, it would have blew through battery incredibly quick. But that's just my guess. But the PS4 Pro is an 8-core chip. It's a system, as 8-core system as well, and so I think that's going to be very similar to that. And a lot of the specs that I wrote down a lot, but they're very similar to a PS4 Pro. So I think they're going to use at least 8 gigabytes RAM. 16 would be a dream, but I think it's probably going to be somewhere around 8 gigabytes RAM. I think I hope they're going to go with 128 onboard storage. We'll see, like, because the OLED has 64, so that'd be a big jump to 128. I would love 256 or 512, to just accommodate for bigger games and stuff like that. But
Yep.
hopefully, we'll see a 128 at least. I mean, even phones are starting at 128 now, so hopefully we get 128 on a Switch 2. I think handheld is going to be 1080p at 60 frames per second. I think they're gonna lock it in, be able to a solid 1080p on the go at 60 frames per second. I think dock is going to be. I don't think they're going to jump up to 4K. I don't think they're going to make that move. I think it's going to be a 2.5K, and I
Oh
think they're
my
going to do
gosh.
that through AI upscaling, which we've seen some of those patents and everything. I think they're going to do it through some of the AI upscaling rather than actually do that, in order to use cheaper chips and get better battery life. I think that's what they're going to end up doing. I think we're probably only going to see 60 frames a second, even in docked, but I would love 120. As I've talked about multiple times on this podcast, I would love 120, but I think it's just going to be locked in at 60. Um,
Wait, even docked, you don't think it's gonna hit 4K? The battery life doesn't matter at docked.
I don't think so. We've just never seen Nintendo go to that level.
Yeah,
So,
but if you remember with the 1080p, they asked, like, why was the Wii standard? They said because more people had standard TVs than 1080p. And with the Wii U, they said more people had now people have 1080p. You can't buy a 1080p TV now. You have to like look for it. Everything is 4K. The
mhm,
majority of people have 4K.
yeah. Yeah, I think them saying that was a bunch of crap. Actually, I think they were they were just lying. I think they just didn't want to do it. But this is one of those things that I'm trying to be realistic. I guess I would love for them to go 4K, and I'm not going to be upset at all if they go 4K.
Oh, of course not.
I'm just trying to be a little more realistic based on their track record. That's all.
Yeah, and I would also agree with that because I mean they're not always the first one to jump on like the thing. I mean that's like as you just said with like the HD era, they like chose to just like, oh, let's still do the standard composite, the RCA cable. Like, it wasn't like the standard HDMI yet at that point. So it was like they really put off that on for Wii, and then Wii U obviously was like a nice step up, but then no one really got the Wii U. So they're also not usually the ones to be like, hey, this is the latest technology. Let's make everybody buy a new TV and the Switch 2 at the same time. So um, I know most people probably would have 4K, but knowing, as Steve said, with Nintendo's track record, they're probably in some sort of disbelief land where it's like, oh, people are still attached to their old TVs because they still like playing the NES on them. So we got to make it compatible with that, you know. So
No. I mean, you have the PS4 and the Xbox and the Xbox One and the Series and the PS5 are all 4K. So you've got well over a decade worth of consoles that are 4K. So I don't think that excuse works anymore.
It'd be great. I again,
yeah,
I'm hoping
yeah,
for
I'm
4K.
exactly. We're not trying to disprove you or say you're wrong. We're
Oh,
we're
no.
hoping that way, but we're just trying to. That's Nintendo's mindset. It's like, hey, we could save $50 off the price of this thing if we lower it down to less than 4K. So, like,
Well, and here's the other thought too. Is that I think with that with what they're doing with, and here my next like thought around the GPU and everything. I think the dock adds extra power, but also I think they're finally gonna put some sort of GPU bump in it to allow for the better resolution. And I think they're gonna do it through that AI upscaling. Um, and also get more consistent frames per second. And so I think through that, that could be something that they update over time. If it's software related, that could be updated. So they're going to start with, hey, we're going to at least, maybe it's an at least hit 2.5, but some games might go all the way up to 4K. I could see that happening as well, but we're going to like minimum 2.5K, similar to how like the current Switch is like, minimum 720p on when it's docked, but you could get 1080p on some games if they allow for it. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And then I also essentially what I think is all this essentially doubles the peak performance of the current Switch and also adds more consistency in the frames per second. Looking at the Wi-Fi, I'm thinking they're going to go 6E, which is 802.11ax. The current Switch is on 5, and the newest standard is 7. I don't think they're going to jump all the way to 7. I think they're going to go to 6E. I think they're going to include the LAN port in the dock again. The OLED had it in there. I think they're going to keep that in there, so you don't have to buy the accessory, the USB accessory to a dongle to do that. I think as well, like you said, Barry, I think they're going to stick with the LCD screen for the lower price, but I think there will be an OLED coming later. Whether we hear that or not on Nintendo Direct in April, who knows? Probably not, but I think it will come later for sure. I think there's going to be a built-in microphone for in-game chat, but also I think that second USB-C port, I think, is going to be able to be used for USB headsets and flash drives and other things, other accessories that could use the USB-C in addition to it just being another power port. I think we're actually going to be able to use that for other accessories. And then finally, I said battery life will increase, but barely. So it's currently 2.5 to 6 or 2.5 to 6.5 hours, depending on which game you're playing. I think they're going to bump it to 3 to 7 hours. So just a half an hour, basically in there. I think they're going to get a little bit more battery life, but not much out of there because it's going to be pushing a lot more power. But I think they're going to try to increase that a little bit. That'd be good of them to do that. So, all right. So any further thoughts on what I got there?
I agree
I'm
with you.
hoping you're right, Steve.
Me too. All right. Well, let's move into launch games or maybe launch window games. We want to expand to that as well. And my guess, I focused only on first party games here. I don't know what you guys are focused on, which I'm guessing is maybe what they're going to talk about more on April 2nd. Although there's also been a lot of rumors where they're focusing a whole lot on third party. And so, but at the same time, it's going to be really hard to predict what third-party games are going to be out there. So I think, yeah, all three of us are focusing on first party. So, Greg, what do you think is going to be happening for the Switch 2 launch or launch window?
Right, yeah, so I did make two distinctive rows on my spreadsheet for this one just to have launch games and launch window games. So for the actual launch games, I'm going with the obvious Mario Kart 9. It was obviously shown off for a reason, and that's probably just because they've been letting it bake for the longest time because I think they wanted to put it on Switch, but with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's success, they kind of had to push back on that, and that's why I think it's ready to be their day one on Switch 2. Um, in addition to that, I also thought we were gonna I really didn't know what to kinda call this game this type of thing, so I just put it, like, in quotations, like a Nintendo Land Wii Sports 1-2 Switch type S game. So it's like that little, like, party
Fair.
game. It's like to just show you, like, "Hey, this is kind of what it's gonna do, and, like, these are some of the different features that are gonna be shown off here," and then just kinda, uh, basically basically at the a mini game collaboration of like the different uses for the control with a Switch 2 Joy Cons and any other controllers. I guess they could technically reveal, even though it's most likely just the Joy Cons. Um, Finally, for the launch window games, I even kind of just put in 2025 because that kind of just goes in with like my release date predictions. So I just kind of just put it as a 2025 like blanket window just for by the end of the year. I was obviously going to say Metroid Prime 4 is probably going to be that cross-gen release that I said back in January. So I was seeing that also coming to Switch 2. I was also had said the 3D Mario game would be around as well, so it's basically a sequel to Mario Odyssey in a sense, but not likely to be Mario Odyssey 2, but I guess we'll see. And then a few other ones that I kind of threw in here. I really think Mario Maker 3 is a pretty strong contender here because I feel like the mouse mode would be a great demonstration for that. And I know like it's been quite a while since number 2 has been around, so I almost feel like that would be a good game for 2025 to also help showcase the mouse mode. And then a few of the easier ones that I kind of threw in here, they usually like to have like a few of the games kind of ported over just to kind of help bump up the library. And so then I had said like the a Twilight Princess Wind Waker kind of package because those were the main ones that missed from the
Hmm.
original Switch. So like I guess a further HD remaster from the Wii U versions,
4K
unless they can add
remaster,
in.
maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. And then I also put in this category the Metroid Prime 2 and 3 because we got the first one remastered on Switch. I think that kind of makes sense with Metroid Prime 4 coming around the corner here. And then two other ones that I kind of threw in here that I'm being extremely hopeful and probably just throwing out more on a ledge here is the next Fire Emblem Echoes type game. So I think I've been predicting that a number of times over the last few years for a Switch release, and I think it might be finally be a Switch 2 type game just to kind of bring that series forward into the next Switch family systems. And then, with Sakurai saying that, like, he needed something to do, I almost feel like we might get a Smash Brothers, like, by, like, the holiday season to kinda roll out. I know they did a lot of effort to make it all HD ready for Ultimate, and I feel like they have a nice blueprint to move forward, and that's might be what they've been working on over the past whatever, I don't know if it's a year or just or less, like, the last, like, 9 months or whatever, but I don't know, I just was hopeful with that.
Wow. That would be an incredible launch lineup if you're accurate, Greg.
It would
And
be. I'm sure
quite
there's
a
might be
strong start.
yeah, there's a few in there that are obviously very questionable, but I do feel like a few of them are relatively safe, but I guess we'll have to wait and see.
All right. All right. Barry, what do you think and what you predicting?
So for me, I did launch window as well, and I kept it simple. I think there's going to be a new 3D Mario. It's been a while. I think the new Mario Kart they showed off will be in that window. Metroid Prime 4, like Greg, I think it's going to be both systems. And Pokemon Champions, I think, will launch in that time period as well.
Mm,
I do not think those ports like Zelda and Metroid Prime 2 and 3 will hit the Switch 2. I do think they will hit the regular Switch to keep gamers happy and then playable on the Switch 2. Because they don't need to be Switch 2 games. There were Wii U games or GameCube games. They could play on the Switch 1 just fine. And they have a bigger install base that way.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, I think yeah, I'm right there with you with a shorter list. Because I don't know if they're gonna go all out. Like I said, Greg, I hope you're right. But I went a little more, I think, realistic as well. Mario Kart, like you guys said, Metroid Prime 4, a new 3D Mario for sure. I think they may throw out an Animal Crossing in the launch window. I think that might be on there. I think it may take advantage of the onboard microphone that I talked about earlier. If they're going to bring back, the We Speak stuff and be able to actually have conversations, with other gamers you're playing with in Animal Crossing, that'd be fun. And of course, like Mario Kart, is it Mario Kart, Animal Crossing? I think are the top two selling games on the Switch. And
Yep.
so for them to jump in and create just off the bat, just gravitate to both of those games would make a lot of sense, I think. I also threw in a Pilot Wings. I think we're going to see a Pilot Wings
I
thing.
hope so.
It'd be really fun and maybe smart of them, and also kind of a little um, uh, retro to throw a Pilot Wings launch in there as well. And then funny, Greg, you went to you went to Mario Maker. I went to Mario Paint. I think we're going to see an update, new version of Mario Paint to utilize that mouse mode as well. And maybe there's some sort of crossover where it's like Mario Paint and Maker and all this other stuff thrown in. But I think they're going to pay homage to Mario Paint with the mouse mode, I think. So now let's step into this other category, because we're going to be talking about price and release date in just a bit. But any other predictions that you were thinking that you made that maybe doesn't fall into the same categories as we've already lined out? So, Greg, anything that you haven't thrown out yet that's not price and release date?
I went with more of the Berry school of saying not stuff, so it's like stuff that won't happen for this one.
It's fair.
So, so it's saying like the new Joy-Cons will not have that IR camera. So then those are the games that kind of make the exclusion list. I know we kind of did the zoom in thing, but I still am unconvinced if it's still going to be an IR camera or not. So it's basically this like those types of features from the Switch One. And then for the funny part of it, I also threw in Street Pass here too. With it's the Switch Two is not going to have Street Pass capabilities,
I
even though
thought
it
you were
makes
saying it
sense
would.
even though it would really make sense for it to have it, because obviously the portability of the Switch is a big thing there, but obviously with like battery life is a major concern. I don't know how well you could really do it, but I would really like to see it, but I feel like it's not going to be coming back. And then
You
obviously
know,
like Miiverse as well.
I I Miiverse would be interesting if they brought that back. But you know what? I feel like, Greg, that, and you guys can correct me if you think I'm wrong, but I feel like Street Pass would be a system seller. Like, people liked it so much in the 3DS that I feel like if they put it in there, that would sell systems alone, just having Street Pass back again.
I
I
think the
love
main
Street
thing
Pass.
is like I don't know if you could really get it to fit in your pocket though. That with 3DS was
Yeah.
even kind of pushing it for
Eh,
some people because of how bulky it was, but
everybody
I
carries
don't.
backpacks now.
The clamshell helped too, though, because it protected the screens.
Yeah, yeah. And maybe we'll see some sort of clamshell thing like protector over it. Who knows?
You never, yeah, never
Yeah.
know for
I
sure.
hope you're wrong, Greg. I hope you're wrong. You're probably
I know,
right, but I hope you're wrong.
I know, I think that's where I was going with. I want to be
Nice.
wrong in this case.
Yes. Yes. Barry, what are you thinking? Any other predictions?
So two. One, the piggyback, I think they are going to do something Miiverse like. I do think that they're going to do something with the online NSO. They're going to bring back some kind of, it may not be Miiverse, but something similar, something to get people engaged. I don't know what. My other prediction is they already did this with the Switch. So the Switch is capable of this. And I think the Switch 2 is going to be capable of this too, and that's VR.
Mm.
The Switch 1 was capable with Labo VR, and certain games had VR. I think the Switch 2 is going to be VR out of the gate, and instead of a cardboard holder, there's a plastic holder or whatever you can buy to use to hold the Switch 2, and you'll be able to play VR games.
Now with plastic.
Now with plastic. It's Labo 2.0. Now you can make your yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work. Yeah,
Can
more
bend
reasons
and
for us
fold
to throw up,
plastic.
Barry. Yes, fold the plastic. That it would be interesting if they
Switch
stepped
1 is
in.
capable of it, so
Capable. Technically
Switch 2
capable.
will be more powerful.
Yeah, I'd be great. I just wrote down some other thoughts, mostly all related to like software kind of stuff. So, I think so. I think one will cross over with the Switch One. I think they'll just also because I think the Switch One is very capable of this. So I think we will potentially see an arcade category added to the NSO. So we'll get arcade quality games coming to NSO. We already got some on the eShop itself, so we know it can run it already. But I think that might be
Yeah,
something
but
they highlight.
wouldn't that take away? I mean, there's like 300 or 400 arcade archives already on there.
Yeah, yeah. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see. But here's my thing. I think the NSO on Switch 2 is going to get something that the Switch will not have, and that is Wii games. I think Wii games are coming to the NSO specifically for Switch 2. I don't know how they're going to work that out. That's for them to figure out, but that's my prediction that Wii is coming to NSO specific for Switch 2.
But
I
no
forgot
GameCube
one of
though.
mine. Yeah, GameCube
Well,
too.
is
GameCube
it
could hit Switch though.
didn't we already have GameCube?
No.
No.
No, we have N64. Oh, yeah. So we can throw in GameCube on there as well. Yeah, they're practically the same system. So, for some reason, I thought we had GameCube already. We've been talking about them adding it for so long that I feel like it was already there.
Mhm.
But yeah, GameCube and Wii games. We'll add an addendum to that prediction to include both. Um, and GameCube would be easier since they don't have to worry about to include the waggle. But we do have motion control in there. I also think they're going to update the UI to finally include folders and themes. I think this will be on the Switch too. And I think they're going to include some streaming capability built into the system as well. I think potentially that's that other button on the side or something there. I think there's going to be they're going to finally jump on the bandwagon as the other systems have and say, oh, people actually like streaming these games instead of just sharing little clips to Facebook. So yeah, I think we're gonna see some sort of streaming capability built into the system.
I forgot to mention one of mine. I think we're gonna see a Switch 1 like overclock mode where Switch 1 games actually perform better on the Switch 2, and all games will get an enhancement, but other games can be programmed. For example, Xenoblade X, they found a 60 frames per second mode that can't be unlocked. It's just there. You can't unlock it. You can't. So people, are sort of speculating like, oh, play that on the Switch too, and now you're playing in 60 frames a second. So I think we're going to see that. It wouldn't surprise me if DKCR HD has that as well, and all Switch 1 games going forward. But even the previous Switch games will get some kind of boost playing them on the Switch too.
Yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense too.
Do
All
you think they would
right.
charge for that kind of feature, or do you think that's going to be all
No, I
inclusive?
think it's just going to be inclusive. I think it's just going to be inclusive.
Because they remember they wanted to upgrade those virtual console games for that whole 25 cents or whatever it was. You
Yeah, it's
want to play
different though.
Tetris again, you got to pay us another 25, 50 cents.
Yeah. Hopefully it's an enhanced sort of thing similar to was it DS and DSi. I think they got like games got a little bit of a boost playing on there. I think similar to
New
that, but
3DS.
new 3DS, yeah. So,
I think
yeah.
even the N64 expansion pack did something like that too. I
Yep,
thought that was supposed to make some things a little bit better.
it did.
Mhm. So, yeah, I'm with you. I definitely I hope that's the case. It'd be silly if they didn't do that. Um, so that'd be just to get another reason to upgrade for sure. All right, well, let's talk price. Current Nintendo Switch is what, 299, and the OLED version's 350, and then the Lite is 199. Is that right?
I
Am I
think
getting
so.
those prices right? So 200, 300, and 350 is the current lineup. So where are we going to see the Switch 2 landing, Greg?
So I was in a really difficult spot with this because they've already said they're not going to be lowering the price of the OLED, so they're certainly not going to price it the same as the OLED. But I also don't know where they would make it enough of a difference to say like, hey, you should probably just buy the second one over the OLED to begin with. So I know back in January I said it was $399.99, but I was kind of thinking that it might be a little bit of a range up to 449.99. So I'm hoping that it's still closer to the 399.99, but I was giving flexibility that it could be up to like 449.99, thinking that they'll hopefully still try to hit that 400 mark, but seeing it's only at $50 more than the OLED, I wasn't quite sure if they would price it that close to the OLED.
Hmm. That's that's a big price jump for Nintendo, but could potentially happen. Barry, what do you think?
I said something similar. I said they're gonna want to do 399, but I think it's gonna wind up hitting 449 with the potential of two different models. One at 399, one at 449.
Mm. What do you think are going to be different between the two models?
Probably a pack-in game, I guess.
No.
I doubt they're gonna do what they did with the Wii U, where they made the white Wii U have less storage, and it's like, why even bother? Go with the better one, and you get a free game.
Hmm. All right. Just to have that lower one that's starting at the lower price, kind of like what
Yeah,
Apple does as well. No one
exactly.
wants that low one, but it starts at this price. Yeah,
It's good
that
for
makes sense.
advertising.
Absolutely. I think they're gonna try to hit that 399 price. I'm sticking with the 399 price. However, I did go ahead and make a future prediction. I don't think we're gonna get this announced there. And this is a change from my beginning of the year prediction. I thought that we would be getting two different SKUs. I think we're only gonna get one SKU at the beginning. But I think when that OLED one eventually comes out, I think it's also going to have some other enhancements. I think like more storage. I think it's going to be OLED, more storage, similar to the Switch One, possibly something else as well, which would warrant a jump to 499 for that higher end one eventually. But I don't think we're going to see it at the Nintendo Direct. I don't think it's going to launch with that second SKU, but they're gonna have the initial one. I think the LCD one there at 399. I think is what we're gonna see. So because that'd be a huge jump for them to go over 400. Like Nintendo likes to keep it less expensive. I thought
Yep.
429 maybe, but I think passing that 400 mark in America would be a really hard for them to do. I think they like staying less expensive, and also comparing that to other systems that are out there, like you can get some, what is it, PS5s more, but I think the Xbox, um whichever one I have here, I think was only like 399. And so to have something like that, it'd be, or even 349. I don't know how much I paid for this
Yeah,
Xbox.
the Series S was cheaper.
Series S was cheaper, yeah. So I feel like they'll try to keep it under 400, so I'm gonna say 399.
I'm really thinking that they will keep it under 400, but I'm also trying to be realistic with all the other ongoing garbage going around in our world today too, to But there
That's
could be other factors that roll in here.
that's very true. Very true. I didn't take into account all that. So yeah, we could see something like that happen. All right. Final category, release date. So I think we all made release date predictions at the beginning of the year. But what are we thinking for release date? I don't know about you guys, but I gave it a specific date. I didn't go for a window, like a season or something like that. I went for a specific date. I don't know what you guys did, but let's talk release date. When do we think thing is going to come out? What do you think, Greg?
So I actually put in 2 dates because I was trying to see on the approach they wanted to do. So I will say that my January prediction, I did give myself a big blanket time frame, like May to November. So I do want to at least call that out for that specific record. But the dates I was thinking of for the Switch 2, if I was thinking if they were not going to try to do a simultaneous global release, that we would see it here in like the US, Japan, and Europe around like the May 29th and May 30th timeframe, like right at the very end of May. But I was thinking if they were gonna try to be pushing more globally for, like, South America and, like, other countries in Asia, like, South Korea and stuff where the Switch is sold as well, that it would probably target more of the June 19th or June 20th type date. I don't remember if they do console releases on Thursday or if it's only Friday. So I was doing Thursday, Friday with both of my 2 dates. I would feel like the Friday is more common for console, but I know with the software they've been kind of pushing to the Thursday. So I don't know if that's going to kind of align with like their launch titles or whatever. If they would rather be a Thursday as opposed to a Friday or even Saturday, Sunday type situation.
All right. All right. So you're thinking definitely soon after the Nintendo Direct, like within a month or
Yeah,
so.
because I was even I'd said I think on an earlier podcast, like with like the schedule kind of wrapping up around like that May time frame. Um, that's where I was kind of at least for a lot of the major ones for like Tokyo and like the US and stuff. I understand even most of Europe ones are like early May. So I was thinking that if they were going to do a kind of that segmented release, that's where I was thinking it would be safe for those three main regions for May. But if they are going to try to include like South Korea, I think there is like a preview event in South Korea that same 29th, 30th, 31st time frame. So that's why I was trying to say like, well, if they are going to account for that, then maybe they could just put it right there around the E3 time frame in June.
Makes sense. All right, Barry, what do you think?
I didn't go a specific date. I just think it's going to be June. I think they're going to use this to build hype in April, do the Nintendo event, get pre-orders in, and then in June, Summer Game Fest, get the system out there.
Oh, nice. Well, as of January of this year, I said it was going to be a fall release, and I was the furthest into 2025 as of the three of us, and I'm still the furthest into 2025 with my prediction. I've narrowed it down. I think they're going to say on the Nintendo Direct, I think they're not going to give us a specific date at that time. I think they're probably going to say coming this September, and then it's going to end up being September 30th. I believe that's a Tuesday, if I got my days correctly. But yeah, I think it's going to drop September 30th. I That is one of the very few days that I am not traveling this year. And so it will actually allow me to get my Switch 2 when it comes to me in the mail, or allows me to go to the store and purchase one. I hope it doesn't happen pretty much any other day in the fall because I may not be at home, or and I really hope it doesn't drop in July because I definitely won't be at home. June, I'm really busy, but at least I'm around, so maybe that will work out. May, I don't want it to launch then too because I may be gone and really busy. So September 30th would be a very nice time for me to get it. I'm okay if they drop it earlier, but it'd be great because I think I'm planning on being home on September 30th. So
So
it'd be
you
great.
want everybody to wait to enjoy it till it's convenient for you.
Of course. Why?
Yeah.
No, I still think I'm wait. I think it's very similar to what I was saying at the very beginning of the year that I think they are going to want to stockpile as many of these as they can. We know that there's been chip shortages and stuff up to this point, which is potentially. And my HomePod thinks I'm talking to her, but I think the chip shortages and everything has delayed, I think, the launch of it so far, and also potentially some other things that are going on in the world. So I think they're probably potentially trying to stockpile them in order to make sure that we have enough of them to launch it in the fall, but early fall ahead of a holiday season, and then just really, really push it through the entire holiday season. And so that's why I'm landing on that time. Again, I'm not going to be upset if they drop it in May, um, unless it's when I'm gone. Um, but uh, but I'm trying to think realistically here. I think all those factors may push it out. However, that is a long time, potentially a long time to wait from actually seeing all of it. So I also understand that may not happen because they're going to be showing a whole lot of it come April 2nd. And is that too early if for a September launch? I get that, but just to throw another opinion and perspective in there, that's why I'm still sticking with September. So.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of time for hype to die down to be that late. I mean that's at least why I had my January prediction. I was kind of trying to cover the situation where they didn't reveal the thing until whatever, like June or whatever. So like I was like allowed it to go all the way through the holiday season, but I understand at least a lot of the leakers and all the other people are keeps been trying to say that was like, oh, it was be the end of 2024, or it was gonna be early 2025, it was gonna be before March 2025, and then people are still thinking that it was still gonna be March, as in like in January. So I feel like with the direct on the second, I think it still gives like that whatever 8 weeks or whatever, and that's why I felt like that very end of May or even like the month of June made a lot more sense for it to actually release this time around.
Yeah, yeah. I think it makes sense, and I think I think if I had to pick, I would be more for the May release than sometime in the actual summer. I think in my mind, I don't think like I think it'd be interesting to release it like in June or July, even August. It could be interesting in that time frame. I think May or September is kind of where I'm going. I'm like nothing in the middle there, um, but I could see them dropping it, especially like like you guys said too, like with all these preview events and stuff. You're gonna get it in people's hands. They're gonna see it firsthand. They're gonna like want it, and they'll be like, "Hey, it's gonna be available right after these preview events," sort of thing, to build that hype. I could see that happening too, for sure. Well, that's our predictions. If you guys have not let us know in the live chat, please do so. We're not done yet with this episode, but if you're listening after the fact or watching after the fact, let us know in the comments on social media or Discord. We'd love to know what you guys think about that as well. Again, we're going to try to do a live stream of our reactions on April 2nd. So if you want to watch the stream, of just straight Nintendo, then you can go do that. But if you want to interact with us and see what we think of that, we're gonna try to do that. Of course, streaming on both our YouTube channel and our Twitch channel, and so you can check that out. But of course, over on our Discord, we have an entire thread dedicated to the Switch 2 launch. So we'd love to see you guys' predictions, thoughts about the Nintendo Direct, all that stuff. I'm sure that our Discord will be lighting up that day by everybody kind of sharing their thoughts and feedback and reactions and all that stuff too. So make sure you hop in there ahead of that. Again, the link is going to be in the show notes or the YouTube description to join our Discord. So let's move
And
into our. Oh, what Evan? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, speaking of Discord, a quick call out to Jakester that told me that these little guys came out from GameStop. So now my Super Smash Brothers collection, in my eyes, is complete. I'm missing the Player 2 alts of a few of them, but now I've got at least the entire main roster now. So,
Wow.
um,
Congratulations.
Nice. Congrats.
Well,
thank you.
I gave up on that a long time ago.
I
I'm
didn't
also
want to have to
running out
go
of
that route,
shelf
but
space.
I was getting way too many of them, and then I was like, well, now it's to the point where I just need to get the entire set. So
Nice. I just got the whole set of the Mario Kart Hot Wheels instead. So I gave up on Amiibo and went that direction instead. So, all right, let's move into our last segment and talk about some games that are coming out over the next couple weeks. The next episode is going to be recorded live on April 8th. So just a few days after that Nintendo Direct. And of course, we're going to be talking all about the Nintendo Switch 2, what we see, what we heard about, and maybe more thoughts based on what we see and hear on April 2nd. But until April 8th, there are a few games that are going to be coming out. And we want to kind of highlight those and talk about what we are hoping to play. The big thing is there's not a whole lot of games that I thought were really like top like AAA things that like stood out to me, but there's a few games that I thought would be fun to run through this list. I would be streaming them or scrolling through them on the screen on the video version. Compliments of Metacritic and their list over there. Some of these games are interesting. Like on March 27th, we're going to get Winning Post 10 2025. Apparently, this is a horse racing game, and I didn't even really know those were even things. So apparently,
Yeah.
horse racing games are a thing, and the next one is coming out on March 27th. Barry, have you played Winning Post?
I haven't, but I have a couple of them, and it's very big in Japan.
Oh, okay, interesting. So on March 31st, we get X Out resurfaced. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge Ultimate Edition. We're also getting Romancing Saga Minstrel Song Remastered International. And Space Hunters is dropping on March 31st as well. On April 1st, no joke, we're getting Space Battle and also Space Truck Simulator, which I thought was just interesting. I don't know if either of those games are going to be good. They just kind of stood out to me as I was looking through the list. April 3rd, we're getting Yuden Chronicle 100 Heroes Story Expansion, the Chapter of Marcus. Yes, that's all the same title. And that's coming out on April 3rd. And then April 4th is going to be a really interesting day. Not some games that I'll be getting, but I thought I may highlight them for you guys because you seem to be really interested in these kind of things. It's going to be a weird day. We're getting Psychiatric Prison Romance, Serial Killer, anime Boys Dating Sim, and anime Girls Dating Sim. And also, we're going to get a game called Is This Game Trying to Kill Me? So all three of those games are coming out on April 4th. So, if you want to have a very interesting time playing some video games, make sure you pay attention on April 4th. So, Greg, any of these games stand out to you, or what are you going to be playing over the next couple weeks?
well, I'm really hoping to be playing the Switch in the coming weeks. Is that we got the Switch 2 on the very close horizon, and there's quite a number of games that I need to get to. So, um, really hoping this time around that I'll really be trying to push through. I do know that Belle will be on her spring break with her mom. Well, like at least one of these weeks that were before the next episode, so I should hopefully get some good chance to be playing Switch games as opposed to tablet games.
Nice. Nice. Barry, how about you?
Well, you didn't mention it, but the new Gal Guardians is coming out. It's on Metroidvania from Inti Creates. It looks really good. For me, Xenoblade Chronicles X, and once I finish that, be doing some game chat games, and then the new Ulterior game that came out the same day as Xenoblade. But I need to do the game chat games first.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, there's a game I have it on Steam, right? You get the Switch version, I got the Steam version. What game is that? I need to boot that up.
Yeah, we need to play that together.
Yeah. Yeah. So we need to check. I need to play that. And then, yeah, I might be playing a little more of of what's the game that I played this week? Guns of
Tons
Fury.
of Fury.
Play a little more of that. I'd like to get some more time with that. Enjoyed what I played so far, but I need to get some more time with it. And then yeah, probably just looking ahead if there's
You have
anything
Sunflyer too.
else. Oh, yeah, I've already played enough of that. Plenty of that. Um, so we'll be doing a game chat on Stuntflyer soon, but I've already got several hours of Stuntflyer, and so I'm ready to talk about it. Uh, so yeah, I don't really know what I've been playing. It's kind of that one of those weird times where like I've got I'm not really traveling until no, I am. I'm traveling right before the next podcast, so I may be playing some more handheld stuff. So that'd be I gotta look at my Switch and see what games I can play more handheld and have that experience. Um, but yeah, I don't really know. None of these new games really stand out to me at all. Um, Barry did the review for X Out Resurfaced though, so that game's coming out
Yes.
soon, so you can check that out. I believe we've already published that.
Mm-hmm.
So ahead of that launch on May 31st or March 31st as well. So yeah,
I know
I
Barry would
probably
recommend you pick up Xenoblade Chronicles X. So
that's
Oh
true.
yeah.
Funny enough, I have it already on Wii U, so maybe I'll finally boot up my Wii U and we'll see. Because I'm kind of in those weird times
I
when like I have nothing to say, so maybe this will be the chance that I get to turn on my Wii U, make sure all my games are still there and it hasn't been wiped clean, and also maybe boot up Xenoblade Chronicles X on my Wii U. We'll see.
you go.
Well, again, our next episode is going to be recorded live on April 8th, 2025. We hope you guys are there, as well as April 2nd when the Nintendo Direct launches. Do you guys know what time that is? I totally forgot what time they're doing that. I should have pulled it up, and I did not.
Don't remember. Let me look it up quickly.
Yeah. I think let's see, it's going to be 6 a.m. Pacific time, so 7
but
a.m. Mountain
yes,
time, 8 a.m. Central time, and 9 a.m. Eastern time. So I will get less sleep than you guys, but or maybe Barry will because he's got a little one. So we'll see. Uh, but yeah, on April 2nd, we're hoping to do the live stream. Everything will work correctly, and we can do that for you guys. Because I know sometimes it's fun to see our reactions on things. We'll try to minimize the interruptions as much as we can, but we'll see how that goes. We don't do a lot of live reactions like that, so it'll be interesting. I can't remember the last time we did one. It's been there was something else that was big that launched at one point. Was it the actual Switch launch? Was that couldn't have been the last time we did a live reaction, but I feel like it was around that time maybe.
I believe there was a E3 that we had done. I don't know if it was like 2019 or
uh,
2018.
that sounds right.
Yeah, we did one live stream.
Because
Okay,
I
obviously the
remember that.
2021 was canceled, and then it kind of was fizzled out over the post 2020. But
that sounds about right.
I f
Yeah.
that's why I feel, yeah, that's why I thought that was like one of our last reactionary ones that we had tried to do.
Nice. So yeah, hopefully if you guys like that sort of thing, tune in live or watch it after the fact. We'll of course have the whole live reaction archived on our YouTube channel, so you can check that out after the fact. Because I know a lot of people have to work or in school or whatever during this Nintendo Direct. So it'd be we should be able to grab it when it happens. But we know a lot of other people will be watching later in the day, and so we'll make sure that the archive of it is available as well. And then we'll be talking all about the news on our April 8th show. Anything else going on in your life, Greg, that's over the next couple weeks, or is it pretty much just kind of life is normal?
Yeah, it's pretty much mostly life as normal. As I said at the top of the podcast, our bathroom remodel is kind of
Oh
ongoing.
yeah,
We're getting our shower made a little bit larger, so it's not like a feel all claustrophobic while standing inside of it. Then I also had mentioned like not too long ago that my daughter's spring break overlaps over this time frame. I believe she'll be in Kentucky with her other set of grandparents and with her mom. So I pretty much will have a few days of where won't be able to be playing Roblox every like 5 minutes or whatever for like days on end with her being out of school. So other than that, I think it's mostly just kind of businesses normal on for me, and so I'm really hoping to get a lot more Switch time in as the Switch 2 announcement comes working closer. So
Nice. Nice. And Barry, we hope you feel better over the next couple weeks. You've had a long stint of not so good health.
Yeah, I'm done with this. I'm ready to be done with this damn cough. But hopefully hopefully another day or so and I'll be doing good.
Be good.
But yeah, no, I'm ready for the Switch 2 reveal. I think it's time, and I'm glad that a lot of the big things are behind me, like jury duty and stuff. And I was like, okay, now I can kind of relax a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And new job going well?
It is.
Good. Good. Any no secrets you can reveal to us, especially before Switch 2 or anything?
Well, we just announced, so this is now public knowledge, but we just announced that we are partnering with what do we call it, Platonic Friends to do Yuka Replayly. We will be
Oh,
publishing that game,
nice.
so we're excited to be working with them. We've got a couple games coming out. Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo is fantastic. I've already played some of it. Dwarve just came out. Adventure Bar Story is coming out. Um, there's a couple others that you just have to stay tuned and see.
Yeah.
But it's like there's a lot of games. Like it's way busier than Premium ever was.
Yeah.
So it's it's interesting to see the different side of it, and now it's like dealing with digital releases and digital
Oh,
release dates and demos and all that other stuff, and going through the game scripts and finding bad things to highlight to the ESRB so that they can rate it properly, and
hmm.
a lot of stuff I didn't do before, but it's been an interesting ride thus far.
Wow. That's cool. That's cool. Keeps you busy, I'm sure. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's fun to learn different aspects of the gaming industry. Sure, as well. Cool. Well, thank you guys all for being here, listening after the fact, or joining us in the live chat as we recorded this. We're so grateful for you guys, and just a reminder to check us out on social media. Be sure to follow us at NintendoFuse on most of the social medias that are out there, and also join our Discord community. You can see the link on the screen, also in the show notes, and also the YouTube description. Would love to have you guys in there and join the ongoing discussion. Share this with other Nintendo gamers or just video game fans as a whole. Share this with them and say, hey, I really enjoyed this podcast. I hope you do too. We'd love to continue growing this community, but very thankful for you all that have been with us. And some of you guys have been with us for a really long time, which is really exciting too. So, like we said, April 8th is our next episode, but we'll be doing the live reaction on April 2nd for the Nintendo Direct. But until then, happy gaming, everybody.
Have a good one.
see you next time.